come to the table with an idea, with something that we can put in progress with.
Number one asset protection attorney, Miranda Walker, Mark Shapiro, and of course, Jeff Szur with Altitude Water.
Such an honor to meet you, and in your field where you started, so competitive, right? Rap music, different than anywhere else because the wrong relationships could end your life. What was the one thing, the one trait that God gave you that gave you the strength to get through that and be successful?
I understand and appreciate people that I build with. We do business, we create partnerships, even if it's just a discussion. I have an understanding to, just that loyalty side of me. You can't say anything about anyone that's on the stage with me.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right? That's what it's all about.
You better believe it. That's the only way it goes.
Jeff Szur with Altitude Water. Where are you, Jeff? Jeff! And by the way, if you want to be a hustler, you got to drink Altitude Water. Am I right about that?
Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I need you to Let's go.
It is such an honor. I want to thank you again on behalf of the Laws of Life platform and our community for sponsoring the biggest night of my life, the Laws of Life talk show with Rick Ross, and for your company, Altitude Water, being a true sponsor, supporter, and friend. We are so grateful.
It was an honor to be a part of that, right? Making dreams come true, that's something that is incredible. It's a great feeling. So doing it with the community, the community won that night. You won by meeting someone that was so important to you, and that song got you through so many difficult times. And the community won because everyone got to celebrate with you and be together. And I think it was just an incredible night. And I was honored, and my whole team at Altitude was so proud to be able to sponsor it.
Thank you so much. Let's give him a big round for that. That's why I called tonight the Rick Ross effect, the people that made that dream possible after listening. So you're absolutely right. And so tell us a little bit about Altitude Water. When people ask you, what is Altitude Water? How do you explain what you do as a founder and entrepreneur?
So we make pure drinking water from the air. So all this other water, bottled water that you're drinking, all comes from groundwater. Well, the problem with groundwater is we spent decades of following the engineer's creed. The solution to pollution is dilution. Take all these chemicals, throw it into a big body of water, and dilute it down to a level that the government's going to tell you is safe for you to drink. Well, you keep doing that over decades. You keep kicking the can down the road, you end up stubbing your toe. And so the bottled water industry did such a great job of educating us on how bad our tap water is, right? When I grew up, I drank water from a hose and never worried about it. But now all of a sudden, they're showing us all these chemicals that are in it. So they did a great job of that education, but they didn't educate you to let you know they're putting the same thing into their bottle and now creating another ecological nightmare with all the plastic that is just killing our planet. Because plastic doesn't go away, it just gets smaller. And so we're ending up ingesting it in our food, but especially in our water. And the other thing is we become a pharmaceutical nation. There's a pill for that. You change your diet, do this, no, there's a pill for that. And the problem is that 90% of that pill gets urinated out and goes into our groundwater. And none of those chemicals are tested by the EPA. So, it's a ticking time bomb.
So let's break this down. First of all, do you not love this bottle? I love it. I love it. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
So what are the benefits? Like, because I don't have a lot of, this is actually very important. What are the benefits of drinking from this container versus a plastic bottle for our health?
Well, that's a stainless steel container, so stainless steel is not going to put plastic into your body. So that's very important. But what's more important is the water that's inside. So the great aspect of water is when water goes from a gas form to a liquid form, it's absolutely pure. So think about how you distill water, right? You boil it, you bring it up to steam, you capture it, and then you bring it back down into a liquid form. So we're starting with the purest water. And everyone goes, it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. Well, think about this. Where does 90% of our evaporation come from? It comes from the ocean. Yet, have you ever seen a salt rainstorm? No, because when it evaporates, it leaves the salt, it leaves all the chemicals, it leaves all the plastic, it leaves everything behind. The U.S. Geological Society, you can look it up, says we have 3.8 quadrillion gallons of water in our atmosphere. It's the only number I know that's bigger than our national debt, so it's a really big number, right? So the fact is we're starting with the purest water, and then all we have to do is keep pure water pure. So again, I believe, and I think most of us here believe, that nature does things the right way. We're the ones that mess it up. So instead of all these filters, we use ozone. It's a natural gas. It protects our planet. Ozone's also 35 times more powerful of a water purifier than chlorine, and it's natural. The added benefit is after 20 minutes, it reverts to oxygen. So you're not only drinking the purest mineralized water, we mineralize our water with calcium, magnesium, and 40 trace minerals, but your body is going to absorb our water more easily than any other water because just, again, let's go back to 7th grade, osmosis. Anything with a higher concentration of oxygen is going to go across the cell membrane much easier, right? So when you're drinking pure oxygenated water, your body is going to absorb it. Dehydration is not about how much water you drink. It's how much your cells get on the cellular level.
That's extraordinary. Now, what was the driving vision? Because obviously this is a scientific concept, requires a mastery. Where did the vision to create oxygenated water come from?
Well, it came from, when my father and I first got in the business. So I sold my restaurants at the same time as my dad sold his oil wells back in 2007 before the economic downturn. And so we looked at each other and we're like, okay, what do we want to do when we grow up? We have this money, what's our next thing? And so we looked and we thought water was going to be the next oil. This is way before bottled water became the #1 beverage sold in the world. I mean, think about that. From your tap, but now people are selling it. If someone told you to invest in bottled water 20 years ago, you would have laughed at them, right? But we just thought water, so we looked at the different technologies. We started out as the distributor for what I call the first generation atmospheric water generators that use RO filtration to try and keep the water pure. We saw how that failed. And then I got the benefit of going down to Trinidad at an air conditioning factory to design our own machines and wanting to make a made in the USA product. At that time, we felt that the economy was a banking and real estate economy. We didn't make anything anymore. And trust me, it took a decade of politicians, everyone telling me I got to outsource this. I said, no, I want to create jobs here.
Wow.
So we've been having a factory in Lauderdale Lakes since 2010, and today construction started on our new 10,400 square foot facility.
Woo! Congratulations. And on Sunday, I had the honor of getting my own personal tour of your beautiful facility and the new 10,000 square foot space. It's really incredible to go. Maybe we could do a Laws of Life field trip. Would you guys like to go on a field trip one day? Because when you see this factory and you see the vision in the factory and you see, for example, one of the things that really struck me was what do you call it?
Disaster relief trailer.
Tell them about the disaster vehicle.
So the disaster relief trailer was something, again, an entrepreneur doesn't just I'm going to build this product. An entrepreneur finds a need and then solves that need through the product. So I've been involved in disaster relief since I started in altitude water, and then when the Maui wildfires hit, Joakim Noah, who has our units, Joakim, Yannick Noah, the whole Noah family was on Maui, and the wildfires hit. And so they called us and said, why can't we get your machines down here? So we started with that. My team flew down there. We built a trailer in about 2.5 weeks. And then that trailer started providing water for all the homeless people. Then when we came back, we realized, because we did it so quickly, we wanted to put solar in it. So now our trailer is actually, today was a press release on our newest disaster relief trailer, which has no solar panels on the ground. All the solar panels make the trailer. When it gets to the location, they all wing up. So the disaster relief trailer for Asheville, we can make 210 gallons of pure drinking water from the air, purify 1,500 gallons of water. We create 12 kilowatts of electricity. We have 60 kilowatts of battery storage, and we have a Starlink that's all beefed up that you can have 100 users within a half-mile radius of the trailer. So when our trailer shows up, everything you need in a disaster is right there: water, electricity, and communication.
That. So let me ask our audience a question. Raise your hand. Have you ever, living in Florida, existed after a hurricane and had not had electricity? Remember those mornings? I remember them. I know my son Elliot remembers them. No electricity, nothing. And so one of the questions, because I'll be honest, Rick, you know, we didn't get A's in science, okay? Science is not my strength. But when I was in the factory and I was envisioning myself after the hurricane, I asked you a question. I said, Jeff also helped a village in Africa with only 1,000 people. So take your mind to Africa, where the women have to walk 5 hours to get water. Then Jeff brings in the machine to provide the water. So what do you think was the first question I asked? Electricity. Can you educate them? Because that's another magical piece, and I know you touched on it, but tell them more. How do you match the water with electricity in a completely abandoned post-hurricane or rural area such as Africa?
So, I mean, the great thing about the growth of our company is it's been helped. You know, Teslas aren't about the awesome car. Elon Musk was just smart enough to have the cash flow from the car. It's about the batteries. And solar has gotten so much more efficient since we started that has really helped us to be able to bring our water to areas that never could use it before. So, again, the water hub in Cameroon provides for 1,000 villagers. Now, we make the drinking water from the atmospheric water generator, but we now also have ozone purification boxes. So we capture rainwater for the showers, you know, for the gray water, and we used our ozone purification to take out all the E. coli on one of the wells that they abandoned, that nonprofit drilled for them, but it was abandoned for 7 years because it was undrinkable. Because the sanitary, you know, they have no sanitation. So, you know, you're having, you know, waste go into your aquifer. So that's going to kill, you know, everything that you can do with drinking it. So, but what I'm most proud of that project is not only what we provide in regarding water and electricity, but we took the women and said, what are we going to do with those 5 hours that you just got back? Because there's generational curses in there, because their kids, even though there's a school there, they have to work the family farm in order to make money. So, you know, we said, hey, if we can teach the women to do sewing, basket weaving, beading. So a nonprofit came in, and the hub that we built was not just for the water. We have classrooms.
Wow.
So we looked at the whole thing, not only to solve, you know, if someone's hungry, you give him a fish, he eats for a day. If you teach him to fish, they're going to eat for a lifetime. So that's what we tried to do, not only with, the platform, but we had incredible nonprofits that believed in that vision. Just what you talk about. If you don't have everyone coming together in one mind, one accord with the vision that you want to do, it's going to be difficult to achieve your goal. Teamwork makes the dream work. I said it to Rick Ross. That's
Wow.
exactly how he answered it. What made that night happen for you? It was OG. It was everyone, to your volunteers who give their time to make sure people feel comfortable. You have to have one vision, and you all have to believe it, and you all have to be able to put everything else aside to make it happen.
Wow. I love that. I think you definitely, what I also admire is that not only did you invent or create the proprietary process of creating the oxygenated water, then pairing it with solar paneling so that anyone in the middle of anywhere could have water, because, if Rick has a date, he's got to have water, okay? If someone is post-hurricane, they need to survive.
Either that
But
or you got to dig deep into the ground, right? He
But-
solved the problem from digging deep into the ground for
course.
water.
But then you educate them. I'm blown away by the fact that you took it a step further to enhance their educational mindset so that they could become more of a hustler, more independent.
That was really working with World Vision. They start every project by, what's your theory of change?
Yes.
What are you looking to change?
Yes.
And again, like I said before, an entrepreneur sees a need and they fix that need.
Yes.
You have to know what you're fixing, right? So, but trust me, the innovation hasn't stopped. You ain't seen nothing yet.
I got to tell you, we will be following Jeff Szur with Altitude Water. You are an innovator and a visionary.
Thank you very much.
Now,
It's the team, and it's the gifts that God gave me in order that to
Now, I
happen.
want to ask audience a question. Have you ever heard of the famous, iconic singer, Amy Grant? Raise your hand. Okay, so our older audience will know Amy Grant is one of the most legendary singers in the history of America. Tell us about how you helped Amy with her land challenges where she had a children's campground. How did you find the solution?
So Amy came to South Florida and met with one of my spiritual fathers in my walk, and he brought her out to do a benefit concert for, he has safe houses in Cambodia. So she met him, and she ended up getting a couple of our small machines. She has a farm that she's had for 20 years that has sulfur water, so she has no running water. So she was always bringing water out to the farm. So she got a couple of my T12 machines, and then she decided to take her farm and donate it to a nonprofit so underprivileged kids could have summer camp.
Yes.
She went to Williamsburg County 2 months before the camp was supposed to open, and they said, oh, by the way, you have to have a gallon of water per person in order to get the permit. And she went, what? A gallon a day? I'm going to have over 400, 500 people here. We're 20 miles from any supermarket in Franklin, Tennessee. So she calls me up, and it is an incredible God story. I just finished a order for a copper mine in Panama. And in that time of making these machines, the copper mine sold, and the new owners, and I take 50% down to build the product, and then 50% when I'm ready to deliver. So I went to deliver, and they're like, we don't want to pay for the other one. Just give us half of it, and you keep the other half. Well, Amy calls me so I'm sitting there, now I got to sell these machines.
Wow.
Amy calls me 2 days later and is like, I need a bigger machine. I'm like, you're not going to believe this. I have it right here.
Wow.
So I got
that
to go down
story.
there, and that was over a decade. If you go to our YouTube channel, she tells the whole story. It's pretty funny. Lots of funny stories, especially with Vince Gill, and
Amazing.
but she's an incredible person, and she says one of the best things, and I think we should all take this home. You never know what the person next to you or across from you is going through. If you knew that, you'd be a lot nicer to them.
Love that. That's an extraordinary story. And everyone should definitely go to Altitude Water's YouTube channel and watch the interview with Amy Grant, because she's literally a legend. Now, as hustlers, are you still having your hustler hustle inside of you, audience? Let me hear some hustle. All right.
That was weak.
I asked you a question. Are you ready for a hustler question? All right, Jeff. Thank you for the support. You know, it's good to have you as a
That's what friends
fellow.
are for.
That's right. That's right. We gotta amplify each other and get each other fired up. But this is also about business. So tell our hustlers what the investment opportunity now is for anyone watching. Maybe Rick Ross is watching. Shout out to Rick Ross. Thank you again for the Real 22 beautiful backpack. Did he do a good job on my birthday present? Thank you, Rick.
Beautiful.
So we don't, here, this is the other law of life I want you to remember. It's extraordinary that Jeff, CEO of Altitude Water, with a presence in 78 countries, is our sponsor on this stage right now, sharing his vision with us. And because of your presence on the stage, we don't know who's going to watch this video. But I'll tell you one thing, opportunity is always knocking at the Laws of Life talk show. So what opportunity do you have for our investor entrepreneurs?
So we've been growing exponentially. I mean, you know, things like the Iran war, you know, we saw so much growth in the Middle East because they start bombing desal plants, which, you know, has never happened before, right? Desal plants are supposed to be off limits for bombing, but not in this war. So, I mean, we've grown on our followers on social media from 700 to 600,000 on Facebook, continuing to grow, having 24 million views in a 28-day period. But growth takes capital. I mean, you said it perfectly, right? Growth takes capital. So right now, we've been blessed, my father and I, in all this growth up until this point. We've been able to fund it mostly ourselves and with our close investors. But right now, we're doing a $1.5 million convertible debenture, earning 7%. We have a whole data room open, can give you access to the data room, you know, all of our financials and growth aspects are on there. So, you know, moving into the 10,400 square foot facility, we went from, you know, 8 employees to now 30 employees. We're going to probably be at 50 by the time that we get over to the new facility. So all of that, you know, takes growth, inventory, supply chain. We are a made in the USA product. Proud of that.
Yes.
Over 83% of our parts come from the U.S., so we're not just assembled here, we're actually made in the U.S.
I love that. I think it's so important to build
community,
build here.
right? I care about my
Community.
country. I want to make sure that we create jobs. And we're also, the way we make our machines, we're doing some stuff in Africa. Now, if we can set up facilities there for the machines to be in that area, so not only give them water, but give them jobs and give them skills, that's what we're looking to do.
Sure.
I love your vision, Jeff.
And Jeff, by the way, there is some job opportunities currently.
Oh, absolutely. We're looking for brazers, HVAC brazers. We're looking for assemblers. I mean, if you know how to use a power tool, we can train you. You know, we've had some great. I've brought people out of the shelter and given them jobs. So you know.
Wow.
So there is job opportunities right now for anybody that's in this room or knows somebody that's looking for a job. The way that he's scaling right now is what he's saying, that there's job opportunities currently. So there's an application process, obviously.
Absolutely. You just you know, go to our website and fill out a contact form, and we'll get right back to you. And also, not only those type of jobs, but right now I'm looking for a full-time COO. You know, I used to wear so many different hats, and I really want to do what I do best and start having, you know, other people fill the other roles that, you know, I'm not gifted for, but I do because I'm a hustler and I got to do what I got to do.
That's right. Well, you know, I love that. I love that you're scaling, and this opportunity is here. So if anyone wants to connect with Jeff Szur, S-Z-U-R, the CEO of Altitude Water, with a presence in 78 countries, helping the world, healing the world, one beautiful bottle of Altitude Water at a time. Jeff, one last question before we open it up for Q&A, and you better remember my law of question. I expect 3 solid hustler questions for Jeff. But before we close, what is your #1 law of life?
it was funny because OG and I were talking about this before. It was awesome. Find your purpose. God created you for a purpose. When you're walking in your purpose, you're not walking. And no one can steal your joy or your peace when you're walking in your purpose. Remember, every time you lose your peace, it's because you let someone take it. It's a conscious decision to give up your peace. You have to know what's attacking you. And again, community. This world is so divisive right now, and it's because they know that if we don't have community, we don't have anything to fight for. We're easier lemmings if we don't have community. And that's why I love what the Laws of Life talk show does, because this is all about community. People come together, different backgrounds, different walks of life. You know, the problem with the Americans is we never go outside of America. We never see how other people live. And you know, we don't also look at other communities, right? We can learn so much from everyone else because, listen, we all make mistakes. It's easier to learn from the mistakes from other people and talk about it than it is to go through it. And it's okay. If you're making mistakes, it means you're pushing the limit. I'll never forget reading this article in Forbes when I was a young entrepreneur, and it says, you don't want a CEO that doesn't make mistakes. I'm like, what? Who would ever say that? And I read the article, and it's so true. Because as long as you learn from it, as long as a mistake doesn't kill your business or yourself, and as long as you learn from it, it's a learning opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. And I want to add to before we applaud, guys. I want to add on, like, how many of you are familiar with AI and use AI right now? Right, you guys are familiar with AI. Do you know that AI consumes millions and trillions of gallons of water a day?
I did not know that.
Yeah, what's going to happen when we run out of water? You guys are going to be knocking at Jeff's door and say, hey, can I get a machine? Right?
Hey,
so
Jeff.
so the opportunity is now to connect with Jeff, invest into what he's doing. I've invested into him. Me and him have partnered on the world's first vodka brand called Zillionaire Vodka. You can go to zillionairevodka.com, which technically, Jeff, maybe you want to elaborate on that a little bit, why we would be the world's first
Oxygenated
water vodka brand in the world.
Well, you think about your coffee. You think about all this stuff. It's 99% water, right? So we already did our first run of the vodka, and I will tell you, it is the smoothest. I haven't had a drink in
the smoothest in the globe,
It really
guys.
does
It wasn't
taste
even
good.
filtered.
Seriously.
And we all sat there and tasted it. We were like, wait,
Yeah.
this is it. And the guy from the distillery was like, yeah, this is it.
He said this is the smoothest vodka, and he said, and we didn't make enough to go through the 12-stage carbonization filtration. And he's like, that the fact that this is, I mean, I finally got to meet the other half of your life, your fiance. He
Yes.
really does exist, everyone. So
Shout out to Paul.
But
Love you, honey.
he was absolutely loving the vodka, and he's a huge
did.
vodka
He
drinker.
loves-
So
Yeah.
that's why I said, you ain't seen nothing yet.
And
We're just
between
getting
the
started.
AI,
we
between,
drank it without ice at room temperature, and it was delicious. So if we would add ice with a little cranberry, I mean, it was. I have to hand it to you. The vodka, Steven and Jeff knocked it out of the park.
Thank you. And how I met Jeff, I met him at something similar, a gathering like this, a mastermind event. And it just, the synergy was there. And it just clicked. It actually clicked in the moment. I said, wait a minute, I have Zillionaire Vodka. Everybody wants to be a millionaire and billionaire. And I've had 2 other vodka brands that I help establish. I opened up 400 stores in the state of Florida with just 3 or 4 of us from the first brand that I work with. And Rick is familiar with that. It's called Elation Hemp-Flavored Vodka, the world's first marijuana-flavored vodka. The second one was C-Note Vodka, which is the world's first $100 bill-looking bottle vodka. And it didn't go as well as planned, and I got left behind. And when I met Jeff, I said, I created a brand because I wanted the world's first of something myself, and I
Wow.
wanted to give back. So every single bottle is going to say benefits charity. We're going to give back because I was taking advantage of. So when I met Jeff and he was talking about water from air, and I was like, well, the whole process of distilling vodka is to take out the contaminants and the minerals. Like when you go through the whole distilling and the filtering, is to take out the stuff that gives you a headache and hangover. So when he told me that his water, I said, wait a minute, your water has 0 contaminants and 0 minerals? I said, what? I said, do you want to partner with me? And it was right then in that moment we knew we had something coming together. So now Jeff and I have the world's first vodka made from air with 0 contaminants and 0 minerals, potentially making us the smoothest vodka in the globe. This is huge.
Thank you.
So give it up for Jeff from
Thank
Altitude
you.
Waters.
Hey, audience, I need you to show me the hustlers you are and give Mr. Szur, CEO of Altitude Water, a huge round of applause. I think we're going to go ahead and take one question from our hustler audience. Anyone have a question? Let's go to Miss Chin, representing Shapiro Capital. What is your question?
Okay. Hello. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how did you know that you're calling from God to make altitude water? Did you hear a voice? Did He knock you down and you woke up and saw this vision?
The question is, how did you hear it from God that that was your vision?
Hold it close.
How did that come inside your heart?
I mean, your walk with God is so important. There are times that I've heard where I know it's Him talking to me. More so with this was when I had peace, when I prayed upon it. There were many times that I wanted to quit. Again, surrounding yourselves with good friends who won't tell you what you want to hear, but tell you the truth, right? You know, everyone, you can find anyone that will tell you to do this. So my spiritual father who introduced me to Amy Grant kept saying, this is your calling, this is your calling. I actually lost my first atmospheric water generator company to a venture capitalist. Then when I started, I had a customer come and say, I can't deal with your other company. Why don't you get back in it? And I said, well, capital. And so that's how we started Altitude Water. And all my workers came and left and came back to me. So it's really be still and know He is God and be willing to take that quiet time. You know, if you're trying to talk to God when you're really, really busy, you know, you're putting Him on hold. You know, I love taking that time in the morning and going down and seeing the sunrise and seeing His glory and what He created for us, and then taking the time to understand that. So, but the most important thing is the fruits of the Spirit. If you don't have peace on it, then it's not from God, because God's going to always make sure that you have peace in your soul.
Amen. Thank you, Jeff. Well, I'm happy our community was able to get to know you today. Jeff Szur, CEO of Altitude Capital. You are the ultimate hustler. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Happy
tonight.
birthday.
Thank you.
Check. And by the way, guys, if you scan the QR code that's on the screen right now, everybody that's a part of this show tonight, including OG, Jeff, the band, Blanca, myself, you will get a link. It'll take you directly to all the links that are there, and you'll be able to access their contacts directly from there.